Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and could even keep you from the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Welcome to the No BS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. I want to give a shout out to Calvin in Johannesburg, South Africa. He sent me a message over LinkedIn and he had a question. He said, I am getting distracted from making sales and it's kind of bumming me out. And I wondered, if you could kind of help me with that. And so I dug in a little bit deeper and said, what do you mean? And he said, operations is doing some things that I'm not really excited about. And sometimes I don't have confidence. And so, listen, my guess is you may be having the same problem. Almost every single company, there's some kind of tension between sales and operations. The operations people say, the salespeople are full of shit and they promise all kinds of things that we can't do. And they promise things that there's no way we can do. They're just trying to make a damn sale to make all the money, right? Which is, true. And then the salespeople, like the operations people, are lazy. They make it hard. They don't understand customer service, right? They're pissed off my clients. They drop the ball. And a lot of that may be true as well, right? But the reality is, here's what I want you to take the pressure off of yourself, both sides. Nobody's perfect. Your company, and you know this, is not perfect. You are inside the sausage factory. You are there where you see all the shit that happens, the stuff that doesn't go wrong. But you have to understand, people on the outside, you make mistakes. You can screw things up, and that does happen, and we do lose clients for that sometimes. But just know that comparing yourself to your competition, whom you are not on the inside of, whom you can't see how the sausage is made, just know that chances are it's probably not a lot better than what you're dealing with. And I'm not trying to give you an excuse to be mediocre. What I will tell you is if you want to be really great at customer service, just don't suck at it. And just don't suck at it. And you're going to make some mistakes. There are a couple things you can do about that. If you're struggling with operations, if some of the stuff that you're putting out there, you feel like there are kind of some messes or there's a chance this will go wrong, after you've closed the business, after they've said yes and signed on, here's what I want you to do. I want you to say, thank you so much. I appreciate you working with us. Look forward to a long relationship. Here's what I need to tell you. We've got a 100-point checklist to make sure that things get out of here very smoothly and it works perfectly. And I can tell you 1 out of 10 times, maybe 3 out of 10 times, it doesn't go perfectly. A lot of times we'll catch it before you'll see anything. But if you find something that didn't go the way you thought it was, didn't go the way you thought it should be, pick up the phone and call me, call John, call Susan in customer service. Chances are we already know about it and working on it, but we want to hear from you. Tell people it's not going to be perfect. Let them know. Here's the thing. Most people don't expect perfection. They just want to know what to do if it isn't exactly right. Admit that you aren't perfect. All right, so there's one thing to do about the backside. But the first part, what Calvin's talking about is, I keep telling myself I need to go out there, but I'm just afraid operations is going to screw this up. Well, this is an excuse that you're making, Calvin. This is a bullshit excuse, right? That you say, here's what's happening, right? You say, I need to call on these 10 customers. And then you already in your head, you have those sales conversations with those 10 customers. You hear their objections, you agree with those objections, and you lose the sale in your head. So you never have to make the damn phone call. Right, Calvin? Isn't that what's really happening? Anybody else out there have that same thing where you say, they're not going to buy, they're already working with somebody else, or they would never pay more, or they wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do that. No reason to call them. Well, have you ever said that before? And then either somebody else in your office sold it to them, or even worse, one of your competitors goes out and sells them the same shit you were going to sell? Don't sell to people in your head. Go have real conversations. And if you're convinced that they would never leave their existing person, their incumbent, then just say, my guess is you'd never leave your existing incumbent. Does it even make sense for us to talk? My guess is, hey, my biggest fear is that the only way you would switch is if we were cheaper. And we're probably not going to be. Any reason we should talk? Or, listen, I know we worked together before a couple of years ago and it didn't end well. My guess is you'd never give us another shot. Frickin' bring it up. Be honest. Get in front of them. Have conversations with the other person, not just you in your head outselling yourself. If there are things that you know are going to kill your deal or you're afraid are going to kill your deal, bring them up during the conversation. If you're worried it's going to be happening in operations, tell them, hey, look, here's some things that are going on. If you sense this, let us know. We'll take care of it immediately. People get pissed off because they're surprised or you've promised them the world and they begin to see crap, right? Go have real conversations with people. If there's a reason you think they wouldn't hire you, tell them what that reason is. See if they can overcome that objection. A lot of times they'll say, no, it's not perfect. Or they'll say, I would if we had this, this, and this. And then you can decide if you want to play. Don't have those conversations in your head. Completely worthless. Calvin, thanks for the comment. If any of you guys, if you have an issue that you're struggling with, you say, I sure wish Walker would cover that in his podcast, send me a note, walker@walkermckay.com. Send me a text, 803-917-2817, or hit me up on LinkedIn. Everybody else seems to be doing that. Thanks. Go get them. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you're struggling to close deals, then I want to invite you to take my free mini course, where you'll learn the 7 most expensive sales mistakes that will cost you time, money, and credibility. So be sure to click the link in the show notes or go to www.7salesmistakes.com. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.